The sky above Vornus 9 was black, not because it was night, but because the planet wanted it that way. Thick gray clouds swirled like smoke, never breaking, never moving. Lightning flashed every few minutes, but there was never any thunder. Just silence, deep, endless silence. The Zarnian warship hovered above the surface. It didn't dare land. Inside the command deck, Commander Relixa stood tall. Her silver skin shimmered under the red lights. She was one of the most feared leaders in the galaxy. She had conquered 7 worlds, but her eyes were full of worry. Now, they're actually going down there? She asked again, her voice sharp. Double quotes, yes, Commander, said the sensor officer beside her. The humans just launched their drop pods. Relixa clenched her jaw. They'll all die. No one responded. Everyone knew the stories. Vornus 9 was a dead world. Nothing grew, nothing lived. It had swallowed entire armies. Not one survivor had ever come back from the surface. It was called the Soul Grinder by those who feared it. A planet that hunted back. Relixa turned to the massive viewing window. She watched the glowing dots 9 human drop pods fall toward the surface like stars falling into black water. Minutes earlier, human ship last spark Captain Cal. Dern sat calmly, buckling the last strap of his harness. The other soldiers around him were silent. Their armor was strange light, flexible, and full of small tubes. But what stood out most was that none of them carried weapons. Not one, not even a knife. Sergeant Lin, sitting across from Cal, whispered, "Still can't believe we're doing this. Walking right into hell. No guns, no air cover. We must be insane." Cal looked up and gave a small smile. "We're not insane," he said. "We're prepared." The pod shook as it entered Vornus 9's atmosphere. The outside temperature spiked, but the walls of the pod remained cold. No one flinched. No one panicked. These weren't normal soldiers. They were something else. Back on the Zarnian ship, Relixa stared at the screen. The pods had landed. All. "Signs lost," said her officer. "No video, no audio. Vornus is jamming everything." "Of course it is," Relixa said. Her voice lowered. "That planet hates machines." She turned to the screen showing live planetary data. Temperature spikes, toxic winds, magnetic pulses. "That place is trying to kill them every second." The officer whispered, "Commander, why did they go down there?" Relixa didn't answer for a moment. Then she said quietly, "Because humans are either the dumbest species I've ever seen, or the most dangerous." Surface of Vornus 9 ash blew across the broken rocks. The ground was jagged, like shattered glass. The air was thick and oily. Breathing it would kill most species in under an hour. But Cal Dern stood tall, his boots steady. On the black soil, his team formed a half-circle behind him, scanning the area with strange handheld devices. They weren't looking for enemies, they were listening. "Anything?" Cal asked. Private Rook checked his device. "Movement underground." "Slow, big, 20 meters out." Cal nodded. "Let's greet it." The team didn't move to defend. They didn't raise barriers or hide. They stood still. The ground cracked. A large shape rose from the dirt. It looked like a centipede, except it was the size of a shuttle. Hundreds of metal-like legs clicked against the stone. Its face was covered in armor plates. It hissed. Sergeant Lin swallowed. "Permission to fall back, sir." "No," Cal said. He stepped forward, calm, slow, like he was walking through a quiet park. The creature hissed again. Then it charged. Relixa, watching from above through broken satellite pulses, gasped, "Run, you fool!" But Cal didn't move. Just as the creature reached him, it stopped. Every leg froze. Its armored face lowered, and it began to back away. "What?" Lin whispered. Cal looked over his shoulder. "They remember us." In the past, Vornus war logs classified, 10 years ago, Earth sent a full army to Vornus 9, 10,000 soldiers. None returned. Or so everyone thought. But deep in black files, sealed by Earth's Defense Authority, there were reports of strange changes in human biology after contact with the Vornis soil. Soldiers who survived changed in mind and body. Those records were buried, and the world forgot. Until now. Present. Relixa's Fear Elixa paced her deck. Still no contact? None, said the officer. But the planet's activity is slowing, he added. Temperature down. No more storms. The ground movement stopped. Relixa spun. That's not possible. This world doesn't calm down. It's angry, always. The officer showed her a feed of weather change. Not anymore. Relixa stepped back, her face pale. What did that human do? Deep inside Vornis 9, human team moves forward. The team reached a canyon filled with bones. Giant bones. Not human. Lynn whispered. Something died here. Many somethings. Cal stopped. He touched the ground. These creatures were guardians. Protectors of the core. Private Rook looked around. So what killed them? Cal looked up at the black clouds above. Something that woke up. When outsiders came. As if answering, the wind picked up. A long low howl echoed across the rocks. Then silence. Cal stood. We're being tested. Let's keep moving. Flashback. Cal Dern's recruitment. Years ago, a man was chosen not for strength or speed, but for something else. Calm under fear. Stillness in storms. That man walked into fire and the fire bent around him. He wasn't immune to fear. He commanded it. Zarnian warship. Emergency alert. Commander. One of our scout probes crashed. It hit the surface, then stopped. Responding. Relixa frowned. Where? The officer showed the map. Right near the humans. Suddenly the screen lit up. A message came through. Not human. From the planet itself. 2 words. He remembers. Relixa's hands trembled. The planet is talking. Meanwhile, human camp night fell. But there was no sun on Vornis 9. Just darker darkness. The team set up a small perimeter, but not with shields. They placed stones in a circle. Old. Simple. Rook whispered. Why the stones? Cal answered. To show we don't fear what watches us. Something growled in the dark. A low, crawling sound, but nothing came closer. Even the beasts waited at the edge. Commander Relixa sends a message. She tried once more. The storm opened for a few seconds. Her voice cracked through static. This is suicide. Pull back. You're all going to die down there. The human comms officer looked at Cal. It's her again. Cal took the mic. He answered calmly, voice steady. No, we've already died once. Now we walk forward. Relixa heard the words and felt her knees weaken. There was something in his voice. Not madness. Control. Final scene of part 1. The calm before the team reached the base of a large obsidian tower grown straight from the ground. It pulsed. Cal touched it. The surface lit up with symbols. Human symbols. Carved deep into alien stone. Rook's eyes widened. But this can't be. Humans have never been here. Cal turned. No, but what we left behind changed this place forever. He looked at the sky, and it blinked. Just for a second. The clouds blinked like an eye, slowly opening. Everyone froze. Something was waking up. Cal whispered, almost like a prayer. It remembers us. And it's waiting. The sky of Vornis 9 didn't just hang above, it pressed down like a weight. No birds. No wind, no sounds. Just the quiet crunch of boots on black dirt. Cal Dern led his team forward. No weapons, no armor. Only strange suits and calm faces. Behind him, Sergeant Lin whispered, This place, it's too quiet. Like something's waiting. Cal didn't answer. He just stared forward. They were heading toward the scar. A deep canyon split the earth ahead. Twisting, endless. That's where the others had vanished. Whole armies, vaporized, swallowed, They called it the Grind Pit. Zarnian warship orbiting above. Commander Relixa stared at the massive canyon on her screen. It looked like a wound in the planet. Pull them out, she said sharply. Now. Officer hesitated. We can't. Their comms are still blocked. No signals getting through. Relixa clenched her fists. Do you know what's down there? She said. Vornis eats machines. It learns. That pit is alive. The officer looked pale, but they keep walking. Human team. At the edge of the grind pit. Private Rook peered into the canyon. I don't see the bottom, he said. And my scanner just shut off. Cal stood at the edge. He didn't look down. He looked across. Something was moving on. The far side. Tall. Thin. Covered in ash. It wasn't walking. It was copying them. Step for step. Pose for pose. Lynn raised her voice. What the hell is that? Cal replied softly. Memory. Flashback. Vornis army logs. 10 years ago, thousands of human soldiers had landed here. They fought beasts made of fire and stone. They lost, but just before the last signal ended, a strange message was recorded. It's not killing us. It's studying. Then silence. Now the echo beings appear one by one. More ash-covered creatures appeared. Each one matched a human in shape and size. One moved like Rook, one like Lynn, even one copied. Cal standing still with perfect posture. Lynn raised her hands. Sir, what are they doing? They're asking a question, Cal said. What question? Do we remember who we were? Suddenly, the ground shook. A deep roar echoed from the canyon. The ash creatures vanished, pulled back like smoke in the wind. Then, the screaming began, back in orbit, panic on the Zarnian ship. The screens blinked. Audio feeds opened. Screams. Not from humans. Alien screams. Relixa's second-in-command gasped. Commander, it's the Krelta squad. They were deployed 2 sectors. East. Relixa's face froze. No one told them to land. Commander, they're dying. The screams grew louder. Then, a sound. Deep. Cold. Not from a throat. From a machine? No, from the planet. He walks again. Relixa took a step back. What did it say? The screen went black. Ground team. Inside the canyon. Human team moved slowly into the shadows. Ash fell like snow. No lights. No flashlights. Cal didn't allow them. He whispered, let the dark see us. Let it know we're not hiding. Suddenly, Lynn froze. I stepped on something. She looked down. It was a helmet. Old. Human. She picked it up. Inside was a skull. Grinning. Melted. Lynn's hands shook. They didn't even fight. They just died. Rook stepped beside her. Or they surrendered. No, Cal said quietly. They were taken. A wall comes alive. The canyon wall beside them shifted. At first, it looked like rock. Then eyes opened. Hundreds. Glowing. Watching. Lynn raised her arm, stepping back. Captain. Cal didn't move. He stepped closer to the wall of eyes. Do you remember me? He asked. The eyes blinked once. Then all eyes closed. The wall turned solid again. Rook whispered, What just happened? Cal answered, I passed. Commander Relixa's doubts grow inside her private chamber. Relixa stared at an old data pad. It had the original files from the Vornis mission. Blacklisted. Hidden from the galaxy. She read the last line from the secret report. One survived. But he wasn't the same. He didn't speak. He just smiled. She froze. The file's image loaded. A human standing in the ashes. Face burned. Eyes cold. Name, Caldern. Relixa whispered. You died here, didn't you? Deep in the canyon, the truth below. The human team reached a flat clearing. Bones lay everywhere. Not just human, beasts, aliens, machines. All crushed. At the center, an altar. Old. Stone. Cracked. Rook walked toward it. But Cal stopped him. No one touches it, he said. Lynn asked, What is this place? Cal looked around. The last place. The planet speaks. Only once. To only one. The wind stopped. The team froze. From the altar, a heartbeat echoed. Boom. Boom. Slow. Heavy. Alive. Rook stepped back. The planet has a heart? No, Cal said. The thing inside it does. Final scene. The calm response of Relixa finally reached the human frequency. Her voice shook as she shouted through static. You have to get out. This isn't a world. It's a trap. This is suicide. There was silence. Then Cal's voice came. Through calm, cold, unshaken. No, this is memory. And memory knows me. Relixa dropped the cum device. Her legs trembled. She finally understood. He wasn't here to survive. He was here because Vornis remembered him, and it wanted him. Back. The ground under Vornis 9 wasn't just dirt. It was skin. It pulsed with heat. It breathed with silence. And now, it was watching. Captain Caldern led his team deeper into the canyon, but something had changed. The air felt thicker. The shadows around them twisted. They didn't fall like normal darkness. They moved. Back on the Zarnian warship. Warning. Lights, Commander Relixa, a technician called. We've lost 2 more scout drones. Shadows consumed them. Relixa's eyes narrowed. Shadows? Yes, ma'am. The drones recorded them rising from the walls. No heat, no mass. Just ness that moves. Relixa stared at the screen. The ancient Zarnian text spoke of this. Living shadow, born from the planet's pain. Another officer stepped forward. Commander, this is not a planet. It's a tomb, Relixa whispered. No, it's a memory prison. And someone opened the gate. Ground level, human team surrounded Private Rook, paused mid-step. Guys, look around. The team slowly turned. All around them, the shadows stretched, long and thin, like claws across the stone. They were moving with no light to guide them. Sergeant Lin raised her voice. Captain, we're surrounded. But Cal didn't react with fear. He simply closed his eyes. The shadows inched closer. They rose from the ground, forming tall figures, no face, no color. Just pure darkness and humanoid shape. Private Jenna raised a hand. Are those the fallen? No, Cal said softly. They're the Watchers. One step too far, Rook panicked. He raised a flare. Back off. He shouted, lighting it. The flare shot upward, filling the space with red light. The shadows screamed. A high, sharp, bone-breaking sound filled the canyon. Then the shadows charged straight for Rook. Lin moved to grab him, but it was too late. They reached him and stopped. Frozen, inches from his face. One of them tilted its head, staring at him. It didn't strike. Instead, it lowered itself to one knee. So did the others. Rook stood there, shaking. Why didn't they kill me? Cal stepped forward. Because they smelled fear in you. Rook turned. That's good, right? No, Cal replied. They bowed of fear, not out of respect. Out of hunger. Relixa watches in silence back. Aboard the warship, Relixa reviewed the canyon scan again. Then something caught her attention. Zoom in, she ordered. The image focused on Cal. Shadows were bowing around him, not touching. Not attacking. Just kneeling, Relixa whispered. They're obeying him. Her second-in-command stared in disbelief. But he's not doing anything. Relixa shook her head. Exactly. That's what makes it worse. The shadow trial suddenly. The Watchers rose. They began to move around the team, fast, silent, forming a spinning ring of darkness. Jenna yelled, "What's happening?" Cal stood in the center, calm as always. It's a test, he said. They want to see if we still deserve to be remembered. Remembered by who? Lin shouted. The core. A deep rumble echoed across the canyon. Then a giant shadow dropped from the sky. It had no wings, but it flew. It didn't land. It hovered over them. hundreds of feet wide. With glowing white eyes. It looked like a nightmare born from fire and smoke. Everyone froze. Even the watchers knelt. Only Cal stepped forward. Face to face with a nightmare. The floating shadow lowered its massive head. Its voice came through every wall, every suit, every mind. You died here before. Cal nodded. Yes. Why return? To finish what was started. You carry no weapons. I don't need them. Then what do you bring? Cal stepped even closer. Memory, pain, fire, humanity. The giant shadow paused. Then said, walk forward. One more step, and we judge again. Cal's silent step. Cal took one step forward. Just one. The wind stopped. The shadow pulsed. Then split in two. It opened a path. The watchers around them faded into the walls. Rook whispered, they're letting us through? No, Cal replied. They're warning everything else that we're coming. Back in orbit, the galaxy watches Relixa turned toward the galaxy-wide stream. Dozens of species had tuned into the live transmission. Now what? Little they could capture from the surface. One alien war leader whispered, they walk among death. Death bows. Another, a scientist, said, this is no longer war. It's something deeper. Something older. Relixa closed her eyes. They told me it was suicide, she said. But they were wrong. It was an invitation. Final scene. The gate ahead. As the human team crossed the now silent canyon, they saw it. A giant black arch. Not made of metal. Not made of stone. It was made of memory. Glowing with ancient marks. Lynn whispered, is that the core? Cal stared at it. No, that's the door to it. He reached forward. The arch opened not by force, but as if welcoming him. From inside came a voice. One word. Return. The black arch stood wide open. Behind it was not light, not darkness. Just stillness. It pulled at the human team like gravity. Sergeant Lin looked at Cal. We shouldn't go in. Not all of us. Private Rook agreed. That's not a doorway, that's a trap. But Cal said nothing. He just looked inside. Above, Zarnian Warship Commander, the sensor officer said. A gate has opened, but not a normal structure. It's made of organic memory patterns. Relixa's skin turned pale. That's not a building. That's alive. Ma'am. Her second-in-command added, the human team is standing at the entrance. Should we warn them? Relixa didn't answer at first. Then she said sharply, order them to retreat. Human comlink. Relixa's voice breaks through the storm. Cleared for just a second. A crackling voice reached Cal's ear. This is Commander Relixa. Pull back. I repeat, retreat immediately. That thing is not a place, it's a being. The message echoed over the team's headsets. Everyone stopped. Except Cal. He stepped forward. 1 foot, then the next. Lynn's panic, Rook's fear. Sir, Lynn shouted. Didn't you hear her? That's a direct order from the commander. We don't know what's inside. Cal turned slightly. He said only one word. I do. Then he walked through the arch. Alone. Inside the memory core, there was no floor. No walls. Only moments. Floating images drifted around Cal. A child holding a weapon. A soldier crying in mud. A man standing in flames. Himself. It was showing him his own past, but not just his own. Humanity's past. All the fear. All the loss. All the pain. He didn't blink. The core speaks. The voice didn't come through ears. It came through his bones. You walked once in fire. Cal nodded. I was born in it. You lost everything. Yes. Why return? Cal looked at the floating scenes. Because I'm the last one who remembers what this world took. And what will you give in return? Cal stepped forward. Myself. Back with the team. Tension rises minutes. Past. Lynn and the others waited outside the gate. It didn't close. But no sound came from within. Jenna spoke softly. We shouldn't have let him go alone. Rook nodded. He saved us. Again, and again, and now we just stand here? Lynn looked at the arch. We follow him in. Before she could finish, the ground shook. The gate pulsed. Then Cal stepped out, but something had changed. The change in Cal's eyes were glowing faintly blue, not like lights, like stars behind clouds. His voice was deeper now, not louder. Just heavier. He looked at the team. It's awake. Lynn stepped forward. What happened in there? Cal answered. I reminded it what we are. Above, Relixa watches in disbelief, Commander, the sensor officer said. The arch has released a pulse. Entire mountains are shifting. Planet-wide signals are changing. Relixa stared at the screen. It listened to him. She whispered. Her second-in-command asked, should we recall him? No, Relixa said. We follow his lead now. Flashback. Earth's last transmission from Vorniza. Hidden file plays across Relixa's console. One man walked into the core. He didn't scream. He didn't fight. He just stood still. And the storm stopped. We don't know what he became, only that the planet remembered him. Relixa whispered. It was always him. Final. Scene. The path opens. Ground before the human team split wide, but not violently. It unfold, revealing an ancient road buried for centuries. Symbols lit the stones as Cal stepped onto them. What is this? Rook asked. Cal answered. The path to the beating heart of this world. Lynn asked. And what waits at the end? Cal didn't look back. He just walked forward again and said, truth. The road beneath Cal's boots wasn't made of stone. It was made of something older. Something alive. Each step lit up strange glowing lines like veins under skin. They pulsed softly, glowing blue and red. No one else could see them. Only Cal. Sergeant Lynn followed carefully behind. Sir, the ground looks normal to us. Cal kept walking. Because it doesn't want you to see it. Lynn frowned. Then, why show you? Cal paused. He looked at her, his voice quiet. Because I died here once, and the planet never forgot. Back on the Zarnian warship, new activity detected. Commander, the tech officer called. The planet's core is shifting. Relixa leaned forward. Explain. Something is rising, slowly, from the center of Vornis 9, but it's not metal, not natural. It's reacting. Relixa narrowed her eyes, reacting to him. The officer whispered, but how does the planet know him? Relixa didn't answer. She remembered the old files. The secret mission Earth buried. The one soldier who walked into death and came out changed. Now that same soldier was walking toward the core. And the planet was listening. Deep inside, a city beneath the dirt. The human team followed Cal down the ancient road. Suddenly, the rocks split open quietly. Beneath them was a hidden city. Tall towers made of crystal and bone. Statues of creatures no one could name. Skies full of floating stone. The air shimmered like heat waves. Private Jenna stared. This place isn't dead. No, Cal said. It's dreaming. Rook looked around. How is this even here? The surface is all ash and fire. Cal walked slowly. Because what you see up there is the mask. This is what's underneath. The core begins to wake. A low hum filled the air. Not loud, but strong. Like standing near a giant engine. Everyone stopped. The ground under them breathed, rising and falling softly. Then a voice not from the air, but from the stones spoke. You returned. Cal nodded. Yes, we kept your shape. Your pain, your flame. Cal looked around the city. Why? Because memory does not forget. Rook's doubt, and the answer. Private Rook stepped forward. He faced Cal. This is all crazy, he said. How do we know it's real? How do we know it's not just tricking you? Cal turned slowly. He said nothing for a moment. Then because I saw this place in my dreams. For 10 years. Every night. The same city. The same breath. He touched a stone wall. Symbols lit up across it, Earth symbols. Letters, numbers, coordinates. None of this is new, Cal said. We left something here, long ago. Above, Galactic Council watches in silence back in orbit. Zarnian drone streamed video to the wider galaxy. Billions watched. Many leaders. Scientists. Warriors all stared at the screen as Cal walked through the glowing city. Some whispered in fear, others in awe. A reptilian general said, "He's not just exploring." A soft-voiced scholar added, "He's remembering." Relixa spoke firmly, "He's not here to learn anything. He's here to finish something." The core, a living heart of stone and flame, at the city's center stood a great pit. Wide and deep, glowing with slow fire. A heartbeat echoed from it. Boom. Boom. Cal walked alone to the edge. He looked down. The fire shifted. Then, a face appeared. Not a face with eyes or a mouth, but something shaped like one. Formed by flames and stone. Huge. Silent. Lin grabbed his arm. "Don't go closer. That's not natural." Cal shook his head. "No, that's me." He stepped forward, and the fire opened. Cal walks into the core without fear. Without a word, Cal walked into the fire. Everyone shouted, "Sir, Captain!" But he didn't burn. The fire bent around him, like smoke. Like wind, he disappeared. Inside. Then the fire turned blue. Inside the core, alone with the world's mind inside. Cal stood on nothing. Around him, stars, broken machines, faces from the past. His own face, screaming, dying, burning. Then silence, then a voice. "Why return?" Cal spoke without fear. "To remind the galaxy who we are. You are broken. You are few." Cal nodded. "But we remember. And what do you want?" He looked up. "I want you to wake." The core awakens. The fire pulsed. Once. Twice. Then. The city above shook. Towers lit up. Statues opened their eyes. The sky turned white. Sergeant Lin shielded her eyes. "What is happening?" Rook stared in awe. He woke the planet. Final scene. Cal reappears as light filled the city. Cal walked calmly out of the flames. No burn marks. No wounds. Only glowing eyes and silence. Jenna asked, "What did it say to you?" Cal answered quietly. It remembered what it was. And what it owed us. The heartbeat grew louder. The ground shook again. The air whispered a word across the city. "Rise." The ancient city had fully awakened. The towers now glowed like fireflies. The statues no longer stood still. Some had moved. The air hummed with deep, living energy. But one sound had changed everything. Marching. Soft, slow, heavy footsteps. Coming from underground. Sergeant Lin hears them first. Lin paused and looked around. "Does anyone else hear that?" she asked. Rook nodded. "It sounds like boots," Jenna whispered. "But we're the only team here." They all turned toward the far side of the city. A tunnel opened by itself. Stones rolled back. From inside, figures began to walk out, human shapes, covered in dust. Covered in years. Cal, stand still. He didn't blink. He didn't raise a weapon. He just watched, because he already knew who they were. The soldiers from the past appear. They wore old Earth armor, rusted, broken, half melted. Each step they took echoed like thunder through the city. Their faces were tired, pale, hollow, but they were alive. Rook took a step back. No way, that's impossible." Lin stared in shock. "Those are the Vornis soldiers. From the first mission, 10 years ago." Jenna whispered, "They're supposed to be dead." But Cal shook his head. "No, they survived." Flashback, the lost mission 10 years ago. Earth sent its best army to Vornis 9, 10,000 soldiers. They entered this same land. No one ever returned. Or so the galaxy thought, but the planet had not killed them. It had kept them, the lost commander. Steps forward, one of the old soldiers removed his helmet. His skin was cracked and dry. His eyes were glassy but alive. He looked at Cal, dropped to one knee, and whispered, "He came back." One by one, the others dropped too. Hundreds, kneeling before Cal. Back in orbit, shock spreads. Relix's ship watched from high above. The Zarnian crew gasped. "Commander," an officer said, "we've identified those soldiers. They were declared dead 10 years ago." Another added, "But they're alive, and they recognize him." Relixa stared hard. "They don't just recognize him," she said. "They serve him." Lynn can't believe it. Lynn walked slowly through the old army. She saw names on their armor. Faces from reports. These men were never buried. Never honored. They were abandoned. Cal nodded. And they waited. Waited for what? Cal looked at her. "For me." The lost speak. One of the soldiers looked at Cal. His voice cracked. Dry and slow. "We lived in the dark. The world spoke to us. Changed us. We forgot time. We forgot Earth, but we never forgot your voice. You told us to hold on, that you would return." Rook whispered. He left them a message before he died, didn't he?" Lynn turned to Cal. "Did you?" Cal didn't answer. He just stepped forward and hugged the soldier. The Galaxy Reacts news spread across the galactic network. Human soldiers found alive after a decade. The planet listened to a dead man's promise. The soldier who died and returned. People across worlds sat in silence, watching. An alien child asked her father, "Is he a ghost?" The father replied, "No, he's what happens when you break a human and they stand back up." What the planet did to them. The lost army wasn't the same. They were quiet, slow, but strong. One soldier lifted a fallen building piece, something no normal man could carry. Their eyes glowed. Faint blue. Like Cal's. Lynn asked softly, "They're not human anymore, are they?" Cal answered, "No, they're what we needed to become. To survive this place." The reunion and the next step. The old commander pointed toward a deep chamber in the city. The heart waits. It only opens for the one who returned from death. Cal looked at his team. Then at the lost army. "We go together," he said. Final scene. The army marches again for the first time in 10 years. The lost army walked forward. Side by side with Cal. Not as ghosts, not as victims, but as witnesses. And ahead of them, a massive gate opened by itself, made of pure light. From within, something pulsed. Something alive. Waiting. Cal whispered as he stepped forward. "Let the galaxy watch. We remember, and now we rise." The glowing gate opened wide. A soft wind rolled out from the other side. But it wasn't hot or cold. It felt like breath. Like something ancient had just exhaled. Cal Dern stood in front of it, eyes glowing faint blue, silent. Behind him, hundreds of soldiers stood ready. The long-lost army of Earth, now returned. Not normal men. Not machines. Something in between. "Sergeant." Lynn stepped beside Cal. "Are we really going in there?" she asked softly. Cal looked at her. "We have to. It's the only way to finish this." Above, Zarnian warship and shock commander Relixa stared at the data screen. "The readings inside that chamber are insane," she whispered. "Time doesn't flow right. Heat moves upward, then down again." Her science officer blinked. "It's not just energy. There's a signal, like a memory broadcast." "Memory?" she asked. He nodded. "Yes, Commander. But it's not from the planet." Relixa's eyes narrowed. "Then who?" The answer came too soft. "From him." Inside the gate, a world of echoes. Cal led his team and the lost soldiers through the glowing entrance. Inside was no room, no walls. Just space, floating stones, spinning stars, broken pieces of time. Rook looked around. What is this?" Jenna whispered. "Are we inside the planet?" Cal answered, "No, you're inside me." Everyone froze. Lynn turned to him slowly. What do you mean? The real Cal Revioledkal stepped forward. His boots didn't touch anything. He floated. He raised one hand. The space around them shifted, showing images from the past. A war. Flames. A man dying on this very world. 10 years ago. Cal said, I died here. The others did too. But something took me. He looked at his hand. It glowed with blue cracks beneath the skin. It pulled my body apart, and my mind. And then, it rebuilt me. Sergeant Lin realizes the truth. You're not fully human anymore, Lin said quietly. Cal nodded. I'm made of memory. The same stuff this planet holds. It didn't just save me, it absorbed me. I became part of it. Part of the core. Flashback, hidden logs from Earth's black files unknown to the galaxy. Earth scientists had once received a short, broken signal, only 2 words, he lives. But the reading didn't come from flesh. It came from data brain waves, thoughts, and something deeper. They deleted the file. Out of fear. Now. Cal shows them what's coming. Cal raised both hands. The space lit up. They saw the galaxy from above. But it wasn't peaceful. Fleets were gathering. Alien armies growing. Dark ships moving toward Earth. Lin gasped. They're planning to wipe us out. Jenna whispered. They're afraid of us, even after all this time. Rook asked, then why haven't they attacked? Cal looked back. Because this planet holds a weapon they fear. The weapon of Vornis. It's not a bomb, Cal said. It's not fire. Or metal. It's memory. The living memory of pain, loss, and survival. Cal turned to the army behind him. These men died, and were shaped into something new. The planet copied that pattern. And now, a deep voice echoed. From the space around them, we can share it. The offer and the risk. The voice wasn't Cal. It was the world. Give us your shape, give us your pain. And we will become what the galaxy fears most. Not death, but the return of the forgotten. Cal closed his eyes. If I say yes, this world will no longer be just a planet. It will be a message. The others react. Lin stepped forward. You're going to let it become like you? Rook shouted. This is too dangerous. What if it spreads? Jenna whispered. What if it becomes us, but everywhere? Cal turned back to them, eyes glowing brighter now. It already has. Above, galactic broadcast goes silent. Relex's ship lost feed. The camera blinked off. And in the silence, every ship orbiting Vornis 9 received the same signal. A voice, not Cal's, not human. But calm. And clear. You buried us. You forgot. US, now we remember. And we are coming home. Final scene, Cal's last words. This chapter. Back in the glowing space, the human team stood in silence. The lost army turned their heads upward. The world pulsed once like a giant heartbeat. And Cal whispered, I was one man once. Now I am memory. And memory never dies. The stars flickered across the galaxy. Warships turned toward VORNS-9. They were ready to fight. To stop the human. To end the threat. Cal and his army prepare. Cal stood tall. Around him, the lost soldiers readied themselves. Their eyes burned with blue fire. Their bodies moved with strength beyond human limits. Cal raised his hand. Prepare. He said simply. The first attack. Suddenly, the sky exploded. Alien ships dropped fire. Lasers cut through the air. But the ground beneath Cal didn't shake. It glowed. The planet itself fought back. Rocks lifted and crushed machines. Flames rose and burned steel. The Watchers, as shadows, returned. They formed walls of darkness that swallowed blasts whole. Commander Relix's shock watching from orbit. Relixa gasped. They didn't just survive. They became the planet's weapon. Her crew scrambled. Call for reinforcements, she ordered. We need more firepower. The battle on Vornis 9. The lost army moved like one. Not humans. Not machines. Force of memory and planet. Cal led them forward. Each step shattered enemy lines. The enemy commanders cried out in fear, "Retreat!" But it was too late. The planet's voice, suddenly, a booming voice echoed from the ground. "You cannot kill memory." The alien fleet froze. Ships powered down. The voice continued. "We are the forgotten. We are the pain. We are the fire that never dies." Cal's final stand. Cal faced the enemy leader. No weapons. No armor. Just calm strength. The enemy raised a weapon. Cal smiled. "Remember this." He stepped forward. The calm that shakes the galaxy. In one breath, Cal moved. Faster than thought. His hand touched the enemy's chest. A pulse of blue light spread. The enemy screamed, then fell silent. The aftermath. Alien fleet retreated. The planet quieted. Cal looked to the stars. The lost army gathered around him. Lin stepped forward. "What now?" Cal smiled. "We make sure no one forgets again." Final words across the galaxy. Transmissions began. The story of Cal Dern, the human who died, the human who returned, the human who became memory. And the planet that spoke.